All of my neighbors' kids were older than them, living at home. They all thought I was a drug dealer. I chased money, made money, spent money, but I didn't respect it. I realized that discipline played a major part of my life. Every time I wanted to change something, discipline came first. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. If you desire something, you will get it. But you have to be disciplined enough to go after it. My kids really have zero value of what I've done on this earth. I've left no legacy. All I've done was work hard to make money. But what does that teach my kids?
Awesome. Hey guys, I am super excited to get you started here in our new episode here with Mr. Dan Sachkowsky, our guest today. What we do here is we get the best entrepreneur mindsets in our show. And when I say the best entrepreneur mindsets in our show, I want to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about what you went through, and we're going to give you guys the play and how to scale your businesses and have that ironclad mindset. So Dan, welcome to the show, man. Tell us a little bit about you and what we can expect from Dan today.
Oh, man. Appreciate it. So there's a lot about me. I'll keep it slow, then we can go through the episode. Grew up humble beginnings, grew up in an apartment, and then moved to the suburbs when I was 14. Didn't really see anything outside of the zone of, what my parents said our life should look like, their conditional thinking, until I moved to the suburbs, until I started seeing bigger things, until I started realizing that there was life outside of what my parents said life was. And at a young age, I just started chasing money. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be rich. I didn't know what that was, but my dad said we would never be rich. So, I was locked in on becoming that. I always went back and looked for validation from my dad as a young kid. And I had daddy issues growing up, because my dad never validated me. My dad never told me I did anything good enough. I was saying off air before that, as a kid, my mom's Portuguese. And my dad used to call me Danny Gordo. And when he used to introduce me to people, he used to call me Danny Gordo. So imagine you having your dad saying, hey, this is Fat Dan, and introducing people like, this is Fat Dan. Yeah. I was a fat kid. So at a young age, I just realized I was never going to get what I needed from my dad. So I just started chasing it throughout my life. Started chasing validation, started just chasing everything that I wasn't getting for fulfillment. And I made a lot of money, lost a lot of money, and 27 years later in business, my attitude towards money is different. My attitude towards wealth is different. My sight of what rich is different, just because I had to go through all of those things.
Wow. Okay. So I don't want to move forward past the validation part real quick, if you don't mind me going into that. What a lot of people don't realize, what I do too, and this will give some context to our new viewers and audience, I do hypnotherapy, and I've integrated that into my contracting world, right? And teaching guys how to get through certain things. So when you said seeking validation, I can only imagine every time he called you gordo, right? What that did for your mindset. So as you were saying that, I was kind of seeing the story. Tell me a little bit about every time you had gordo come up, what did that do for your mindset, and how was that a driving force to your success?
Well, I guess my identity was created as I was this fat kid, and I was going to be this fat kid forever. And I was never going to be good enough. My brother was skinny, and he didn't have any names for my brother, so it's like, why did I have to have an extra name? Maybe I wasn't living the part, and I carry my father's name, same name, as his father as well. And maybe I just wasn't living to the part, or maybe I just wasn't going to identify as the kid he thought he was going to bring into the world as his first son. I don't know. So at around 13 years old, I stopped. Asking him what he thought. Because every time I tried to come across hey, Dad, what do you think about this? I started to have to really ask myself, do I want to ask him this question? Do I want to get beat? Do I want to get yelled at? Do I want to get put in my room? Because I'm just trying to ask questions as little kids do. Yeah. And I just couldn't ask questions. So I got introduced to the gym at 15 years old, and I was a fat kid going to the gym. I just wanted to change my life, and I started hanging out with all the juice heads. Yeah. I see all the big boys in the gym. I was like, hey, can you help me? And they would help me, and then later on in the locker room, hey, bro, I would love to this one day look 1/10 of what you look like. And I got introduced to the world of steroids, and I started seeking validation by hey, all right, I look different. Now people are saying, oh, you look different. Oh, wow, you're big, and all those things were oh, all right, check mark. I'm doing my thing. And then when I was 15 years old, we passed by Bon Jovi's house because he lived in Jersey. And I remember this house was so big. Remember, we come from the projects area, an apartment, and then we moved to the suburbs, a 3-bedroom house. My grandma, grandpa, and uncle moved in with us. So it was the same bullshit. And we passed Bon Jovi's house, and I go, Dad, what's that? He goes, those are rich people. We'll never be rich. So literally that same weekend, I'm like riding my bicycle around the block, and people like have garage sales on the weekends. So I just stop, as a little kid, you just kind of see what there is. Like you want to buy something stupid, you got 50 cents in your pocket, right? You're rich. And I seen the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was 50 cents.
Yeah.
So literally that conversation was like, we'll never be rich. And I just saw the title and I was like, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I got a poor dad. I want a rich dad. And I said, how much is the book? And there was a little sticker. It said $1. I said, I only have 50 cents. The guy was like, all right, you can take it for 50 cents. So I read this book at 15 years old. And a year later, I found my rich dad.
Wow.
So how the validation started and how the concept of my life in business started was this guy named Dave was my mentor. He was my only boss ever. I've never had a job except for Dave.
Wow. Okay.
So from 16 and 17 years old, Dave was in construction. Dave had 2 houses, had a beautiful wife, had 3 kids. Dude, he had the dream life. You know what I mean? The cars, everything.
Yeah.
And I used to go to Dave's house on Saturday and Sunday, and I used to sweep his garage, rake his leaves, and just ask Dave questions. I literally, bro, as a 16-year-old kid, would be at his house at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday so I can go to the bagel shop with him or the coffee shop, whatever it was. He would get his coffee. I'd get my hot chocolate. I didn't drink coffee yet. Yeah. And he would get his butter roll. I would get mine. And all the people in the shop were like, man, you're so lucky to be connected to Dave as a young kid. Like, wow. Just listen to him. Be a sponge. He was like the mayor. So I used to go to his house, work for free for 2 years on the weekends. I was getting paid during the week from him, but I was just going out for free. And I think he knew what he was doing. He was mentoring me, and I think he knew that. So at 17 years old, I was playing football in high school, and my dream was to go to college and play football. But, dude, I was short. I was slow. I didn't have the academics. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So right after football season, I remember talking to Dave, and I said, man, one day I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to be like you. And he said, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be you, and I believe in you. My dad never said that to me my whole life.
Yeah.
So Dave kept talking, but as he kept talking, I wasn't listening anymore. He said, I believe in you. I'm like, all right, cool. I said, all right, Dave, I'm going to go start my own company this week, and I'm going to figure this out. So 2 weeks later, I say, hey, Dave, I got my own business. I got my own side job. I can't come to work no more. He's like, Dan, you're not ready. But that, even though he said I wasn't ready, he said he believed in me. By telling me you believed in me, that's all I needed to hear. Here we go.
Yeah.
So from 17 to 24, all I heard in the back of my mind is Dave believed in me. He told me I'm going to make it. I told him I was going to do it. It's going to happen. So you remember MTV Cribs?
Absolutely. Yep.
So MTV Cribs was a show that was on TV, and I would watch this as a kid, and I would see all this cool stuff. Like, oh, wow, wealthy people have nice cars. They have nice houses. That's rich.
Yeah.
So as a kid, rich is labeled as money. If you're not brought up wealthy, you think rich. And when you think rich, you think money. But as you go on through life, you realize that rich is not money. Rich is everything else. But I identified rich as money. So I said I wanted to be rich. So by the time I was 24, I had a 5,000 square foot house. It was $1 million house at 24 years old.
Wow.
I had 2 Escalades. I had an S55 AMG. I had a house in Cabo, Mexico. Bro, I was living the fucking dream, bro.
Yeah.
All of my neighbors' kids were older than them, living at home. They all thought I was a drug dealer. 24 years old, I made about $4 million net by 24.
Wow.
I went bankrupt, lost everything.
What made you get bankrupt? Like
the market crashed in 2007.
Okay.
So here's what I did was I chased money, made money, spent money, but I didn't respect money. And I didn't see the end coming. Because when I started construction in 1999 till 2006, 2007, the economy was booming.
Right.
So there was no slow time. So nobody ever said, hey, save your money. Because, again, I didn't have a mentor. I stopped talking to him. So as I go bankrupt, what I realized was people say, do you regret going bankrupt? No, not at all. It actually humbled me, number one. Number two, it allowed me to resolve that complacency part of my life where I was just complacent in the fact that I would just make money, spend it, and just think that's the way the wheel went.
Right.
So they go, well, what's your biggest regret? Well, my biggest regret is I didn't ask for help. Dave was offering me help, and I rejected it. And if I would have just listened a little bit longer, maybe things would have been different. But I wouldn't change the story. The reason why I wouldn't change the story is because I don't think that if I didn't go bankrupt and make all that money early on, I don't think I would be where I am today. You know, I might have had a business that would have been consistent, like Dave's. You know, Dave was 40-something years old. Now, I still see Dave. He's still working. You know, built a massive company, but he's still on a job. And maybe that's where I would have been. So I just, you know, ended up taking that. But understand something, that at the age of 22, so you're talking 5 years in business, I hung up my tool belt.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
I knew early on that I couldn't be the estimator, the sales guy, the leader, the boss, and all those things at a young age because I was already reading books. So I hung up my tool belt. I had foremans, I had all that kind of stuff, and I realized that I had the operations, I had the systems, I just didn't have the respect.
Wow. I love that you say the respect on that, because if it wasn't through your journey, you would have never gotten to where you are. And tell me a little bit of, I've followed you for a long time now, and I've watched what you say, and you say a lot of things about coaching and what that looks like. And being a coach myself, I believe in mentorship and having a coach as well. A lot of people feel like coaches don't have coaches, which we do. Tell me a little bit about that portion of it. If when you say I have a coach, and I'm looking at the industry, because there was something that resonated that you said once. You had mentioned in one of your stories, you said, hey guys, I'm out here right now to show you what coaching is like. In other words, right? Because you're exposing the fake coaches out. And I'm changing the direction of this a little bit, because I think it's important to talk about real life situations, what you've gone through, how you're able to foresee those problems for other people before they have problems, because that's really what mentorship is.
Yeah.
What are you noticing in our field in the coaching side? And when you said that, what resonates for you, and why did you say that? Because I think that's important to expose a little bit too.
So I've had a coach since I was 24 now. So 20 years I've had a coach.
Awesome.
I've probably spent $8 million on coaching and personal development since then. But I've made hundreds of millions. Right. But at the end of the day, what I can tell you is that so many people out there want to be a coach because they see things and they see the shiny objects and they go, if I can just sell this bullshit, people are going to buy it. There's many, the funny is, I was literally on a podcast before this and we were talking about this shit. And there's guys right here in San Diego, bro, like, you know what I mean? That drive around their Lambos and they do all this bullshit. And all they're at the Louis Vuitton store and they're doing all this shit and they're showing all this flash. But I can tell you right now that what they've done was see something that's shiny, figure out how they're going to sell it. It's not tangible, and they're just going to take everybody's money. So what I've done was I own the shovel, I use the shovel, I sold the shovel.
Yeah.
So I can teach you how to do the same thing. It's just like going to a therapist, right? So like I was married, and I remember when I was married, we went to a marriage therapist. And the first question I asked, I go, are you married? No. Do you have kids? No. Then what the fuck are you going to tell me?
Right.
You're going to teach me textbook? That's like going to college. College is a fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
Complete waste of time.
Yeah.
You learn from a person who's a professor. They read out of a book. They were taught to teach you what the book says.
Right.
But they don't profess. You're going to go to business school from someone who doesn't own a business? Dumb can't tell dumb how to be smart, bro. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So in my industry now in coaching, like, bro, I'll go ball to ball with anybody because I've done it.
Yeah.
I got the receipts, you know, but I don't show this shit because I don't want to sell a young kid, oh, look, he's got a Lambo. It's irrelevant. Bro, I got the lifestyle. I got the shit. I got the education. And I want to work with people who can afford to work with me, not have to take out a loan for $10,000 for my program. There's a big difference.
Right. I love that, man. And I love that you're identifying that, because what happens is, and this is why I wanted to have you on the podcast, right? Because when you see that, you're actually living it. And I watch you, right? I see what you're doing. You're in the gym. You talk about faith. You talk about all these things that are important to you. And I think a lot of people, when they're chasing money, they're chasing businesses, they forget that there's multiple pillars in their life that they have to be great at and really instill in their lives. So if you don't mind sharing a little bit of light on when did faith start coming into your life? Because I'm sure it wasn't always there.
Let's just start there. Keep all your bullets because we have stories for all of these. So I was born Catholic. I call myself a recovering Catholic. You know, my mom's Portuguese, and you know, the whole Catholic tradition, the whole religion.
Yep.
When you look at religion's man-made. It's something that the government controls.
Yep.
The real truth about the Bible is understanding that Jesus wants you to have a relationship with him. And the problem with being Catholic is you have no relationship. You have tradition. You go to church, you listen to the priest, he talks, you have no idea what he's saying. Half the time you're falling asleep anyway because it's boring. So it's the same thing as about being in college.
Yeah.
You can go to seminary and teach someone something, but if you're not living it, you're not living through the book of truth, you're not doing that, it's irrelevant.
Right.
So 2007, when all this happened to me, I get involved in network marketing.
Yep.
Because, bro, I need to bridge the gap. I need to make money. So early 2007, I go bankrupt. Towards the end of 2007, I'm in network marketing, bro. Within months, dude, I'm making 30, 40 grand a month.
Right.
That's just who you are. You know what I mean? Like, if you're that person, you're going to be that person.
Right.
But again, I was running hard. My son's 18 months old. I'm pulling my car out of the garage. And as I pull my car out of the garage, we have a bedroom. So the garage ceiling is 20 feet, and there's a bedroom above it. My son's saying bye to me, like pressing against the screen, 18 months old, he falls out the window.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he turned white like my shirt.
Wow.
So we thought he was dead. So he wasn't breathing. He wasn't doing anything. There was no reaction, but he was still alive. I grab him, rush him inside. We call the cops. I tell the cops he fell out of his bed because as a parent, you panic. You don't know.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in the hospital 3-4 hours. They're like, oh, we're going to release you. There's nothing wrong with him. We can't find anything. The kid can't even stand up. So I'm like, we got to tell him. So we tell the doctors, they immediately separate us. DIFUS comes, and they separate us. They go with me to my house. They wouldn't let my, ex-wife be anywhere near us. So we go to the house. They see that we have gates up for the kids. They see her slipper like at the end of the hallway running. They see the screen outside. So everything was clear.
Yeah.
But how faith played a part in my life wasn't that my son was still there, because yes, God, at the end when he was falling, what's wild is he fell fast, but the last 2 feet, bro, it was like slowly put down, right? So that was one. That was one thing.
Wow.
The second thing was there was these 2 guys I met in business that were Christians, and I only known them for 2 weeks. They were at the hospital for days while we were there. Making food, sitting there, talking to us about faith. Why do you think this happened? Slow down, all this stuff. You need God, bro. You need a relationship. All right, cool. Yeah, all right. I understand. Whatever. So just come to our church. Do us a favor. I'm like, listen, you guys gave us food. You do all this stuff. I'll come to your church. So they went to a church, bro. And went to a church, and it was wild, bro. People were falling down. People were speaking in tongues. People were going crazy. I was like, I can't do this, dude. I'm out of here.
Culture shock for you,
yeah,
bro.
I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I leave, and I tell my mom, and my mom's like, just come back to Catholic church. I was like, all right, I'll try it. So I remember, as a kid, we used to escape to the top, where you try to go to the top of the church, where it's up in the back, where you're overseeing everything, so you can just fall asleep and nobody will see you.
Yeah.
Right? So I went to the top. Bro, I'm 20-something years old. I passed out in minutes because it was boring.
Wow.
Can't do this either. So we started going to a couple different churches. We went to a church, and there was one church where I resonated with the pastor very well. He was on TBN all the time, my pastor. And he had a life, he had a business, he had a son who was an athlete in college, and he dealt with real world finances, he dealt with real world problems, he dealt with everything that I was dealing with. And he was explaining how all that stuff works and how it's in the Bible and how to use the Bible and the word of the Bible to translate what goes on in our life.
Yeah.
In 20-something years, I've never seen that in my life.
Wow.
You talk to 95% of Catholics, they can't even tell you what the Bible's about. So I've been a Christian since 2007. I can't say that I've been practicing as a great one, because again, you walk into something and you claim that you are someone. It's like an entrepreneur calling himself an entrepreneur. You're not. Yep. A business owner saying I'm a business owner. No, you're not. But we identify as something as soon as we start playing the role. But I wasn't practicing, and I continue to grow better and better and stronger every single year. But I really feel like from that point moving forward in my life, every time I needed to get checked, God would kick me in my nuts and check me and be like, all right, bro, slow down. You know what I mean? And, look at this. You're going this way, you're going that way. So over the last, I would say 12 years now. So I've been a Christian for 19 years. Over the last 12 years, I've been journaling every single day and reading scripture every single day.
And what does that do for you every time you do that? So
the way I read scripture now compared to the way I used to read scripture, now I just open up the Bible, to anything. Like I just grab the Bible in the morning and I open it up to whatever page is there. And what's crazy is everything I'm asking for is right there every day. So I spend about 10, 15 minutes in the Bible. I read a couple devotionals and I journal. But what I've been doing for the last 12 years is I've been writing down 3 things that I'm grateful for every single morning.
Yeah.
When you show up in the world with an attitude of gratitude, something just changes. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I do is I don't touch my cell phone until 9:30 in the morning.
Wow. Okay.
Every single time someone wakes up, the first thing you do is look at their phone.
I'm at fault to that still to this day, yeah.
So here's what happens. The minute you wake up, you haven't even stepped out of bed yet. You've said, hey, world, give me what you got. Mm-hmm. And now you see something bad. You see a customer not paying an invoice. You see an email. You see someone not showing up to the job site on time. Whatever it is, your entire day is set off of that standard. So take it back to this. You ever get out of your bed and kick your toe on the end of the bed? Right.
Yeah.
And you talk about it all day. Mm-hmm. So you're bitching about this all day. Now your entire day is ruined because of the one thing that happened that you could have just forgot about. You're telling me you kicked your toe. I don't give a shit, dude. Yeah. What do I care about? You're the one who cares. I don't care.
Right.
So when I wake up in the morning, I wake up around 5:30 in the morning. And when I wake up, I go right to make a cup of coffee. I have a cup of water. And I get right in my books, journal. And about an hour and a half doing that. Then I go work out for like an hour and a half. Now it's like 9:30. I'm cooking breakfast. I'm in my day. So what does that do? Now I'm prepared to step into the world. And people go, oh, I can't do that. I don't have enough time. Listen, the problem is if you have to be out the door at 7, you're waking up at 6:30. That's what everyone does.
Right.
Wake up at 5:30. Spend 20 minutes in the Bible. Do some push-ups and some sit-ups. You have an extra 40 minutes. Take a shower. You'll be out the door. You'll actually be out the door earlier than you're usually out the door because your routine's going to change. But everybody wants a mistake that they don't have time for the things that are important until it's too late. So when we have conversations with people, what do they usually say? Well, oh, someday. Yeah. Well, last time I checked, someday wasn't a day of the week. You know? So you either do it now if it's important to you and you want to change, you want to implement something in your life, which I totally believe that faith is important to me every single day. Working out is important to me every single day. So if I don't get it done, it actually like throws a wrench in me and I feel like guilty about it.
Yeah. I love that you say that because when I first started in my program, I called it Success Morning Routine. And although I do pick up my phone, I always read first thing, just like you said, right? I still read first thing. I still do those things first. But the problem that I'm running into is I'm starting my calls too soon. I'm starting at 7 a.m. Even if I get up at 5, it's still not enough time to really give my time for me to serve others. So I love that you say that because, gosh, I can only imagine a 4-hour block of just gratitude and feeling great.
And if you can't do it, you just get up earlier, go to bed earlier.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I love that. And I love how you're putting that into perspective. And the cool part is, again, like I'm watching you, man. Like I've been watching your routines and stuff like that, and you're really embodying everything you're doing. That's why I'm asking these questions.
Super disciplined.
Yeah. Every time you're at the gym, every time you're showing that, hey, I'm reading the Bible every time. And I love that. Now, one thing I like about the Bible, it does talk about every time you read it, you're putting the shield of armor of God, which is protecting you before you even get out to the world. I never really understood that. And my brother's a pastor, so like he instills these words to me as well. And when I started implementing that too in my life, I started seeing that and I was like, man, you're right. Like every time I sway from that, boom, he puts me in check every time. It's like, it's just natural, man. Like it could be something financial, or it might be something in the relationship. It might be something of a client or business related. Yeah. Always puts me in check. So I love that you said that. So moving from faith now, right? I think that's first pillar, right? What would be a second pillar in your life that you think is important?
So second pillar in my life would be family. So faith, family, then work, right? So my kids are super important to me. I grew up, I talked to you about growing up with a father who wasn't really there for me. Even though you talked to my dad, yeah, I was always there. I was at your games. I was this and that. Being there and being present are two different things. Being there and being connected are two different things. And a lot of times people say, hey, you're a really good dad. Hey, I really see what you're doing. Hey, I'm watching what you're doing. And it's super important to me to know that I'm doing that. Yeah. Because sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. And raising my kids the way I'm raising my kids and doing what I'm doing, I understand that my two sons are entrepreneurs. They're both business owners.
Okay.
My daughter is a sophomore in high school, and every day she's like, I'm over it. I'm done with school. Can't wait to be done. I want a business.
Yeah.
You know, so I've taught them things that basically the struggles of life come from the decisions we make or we don't make. And one thing I've done, which I feel like a lot of business owners don't do, is I engage my kids in everything. Every struggle, every win, every loss, every pain, and everything that I have as a goal so that they can play a part of it. Because again, when you talk to people who own a business, most people would say, I do this for my kids. And I'm going to say, no, you don't. Because how many times do you say, oh, I can't afford that. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't show up. But if you really did it for your kids, you're teaching your kids the I can't. We don't teach our kids the I can't. We don't teach the kids the impossible. We teach our kids the possible.
Right.
So by not showing up, so you're working as an entrepreneur and you're working 80 hours a week and you're coming home, but you're doing it for your kids. And when you come home, you're grouchy, you're tired, you don't want to do nothing with your kids. You just want to fall asleep. You want to be left alone. So you're doing it for your kids? No, because your focus is on you.
Right.
Most business owners, they do it for ego. They do it for self-satisfaction. They do it for themselves.
Yep.
They just want to win. And as long as I win, I'm good. That's why so many people get divorced. I got divorced, bro, over it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why so many people get divorced. So many people have, their kids that don't pay attention to them. They just give their kids money, so their kids can stay busy.
Yeah.
Dude, my kids don't get shit. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you work for it.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. And I knew something at an early age that my father wanted something or was missing something. And whatever that was, it reacted to the way he was reacting to me.
Okay.
So whatever, he had 3 brothers and sisters, and whatever it was there. And he always talked about how he always got in trouble, and he did this, and he got kicked out of the Navy and all that. But my grandfather was high in the Navy, right? So maybe he disappointed his dad. I don't know. I never got to the base of that.
Yeah.
But whatever he dealt with created that trauma in my life. And I wasn't going to do that to my kids.
Yeah.
So I show up first. My family's first. My kids are first. I don't care about money, dude. Money's secondary. Yeah. I'm here to serve. But at the end of the day, like, take all the money away. As long as my kids are safe, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. I love that you say that. And you're absolutely right with your dad, too, right? We just never know what they went through, and they're instilling things that they were taught, right? And obviously in my line of field, we talk about triggers and traumas and how do you shift that and how do you re-identify and all these other things. So when you say you're doing this now for your family, right, do you feel like you had that since day one, or there's something that shifted for you to finally get that
after I went bankrupt?
Okay.
So, right, I chased that money for all those years, those 7 years.
Yep.
And then the day I came home, I remember talking to my bankruptcy attorney. I'm like, I can't believe I just did this. Like, this is crazy. I made all this money. I just lost everything.
Yeah.
He goes, bro, I've never met someone your age who's done what you've done. The next time it's going to be easier. You'll do it. Another guy who tells me he believes in me. He's like, all you're doing, because I think when people see bankruptcy, they see failure. But it's a law. You're allowed to use it for a reason.
Right.
The economy was crashing. I didn't crash it. I was just participating.
Yeah.
So I was able to leverage the law to become the next version of me. So when I went home that day after filing bankruptcy, my 2 kids were born, and they ran up to me because they were so happy I was home.
Oh, man. Okay.
So at that point, I said, for everything that was just gone, this is all that really matters.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting how when you saw that, I say this a lot of times when I coach like marriages, right? When I tell them, I'm like, hey, if your husband lost his business right now, would you leave? Every single time the wife's like, no, I didn't marry him for the business. I married him for him. So I feel like when you said that, that's kind of like what you're saying. The kids, when they saw you, you're like, that's right. I lost all this financial. I lost the business, but I didn't lose my children, which is the most important part.
My ex-wife, we weren't married yet, but she resented me, at that point, because we had a nanny. We had all that stuff.
Yeah.
And no nanny no more, and I was home because I was trying to figure out what I was doing, and she had to go to work. So it was a wild ride, man.
Yeah. Interesting, man. I love that you're sharing that with us. So then you got the second pillar, which was family.
Yeah.
And you said the third one was what?
It will be work.
Work. And when you think of work, obviously you're putting it third in line. when you got 1 and 2 done right, how does that affect your number 3?
So workers look different over the last 26 years. So building a business and building a business and building a business. And until 4 years ago when I had a heart attack,
Okay.
that didn't change. Now we're looking at work a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So I made a lot of money, dude, in 22 years. I lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, I went bankrupt twice, and I
Okay.
sold 3 companies. You know what I mean? So if you want to talk about how to make money, how to lose money, I'll teach you.
Yeah.
You know?
Awesome.
But having that heart attack at the age of 40 and being in that hospital and just seeing all the stuff going on top of you and the lights and not knowing where you are and the fogginess and just saying, like, bro, this is it. Like, life is over.
Yeah.
My one son wasn't even talking to me at that point in my life. So it's like I had so many things that I hadn't accomplished yet. And so many people in life die with regret. For me, I said, if I were to die right now and this was my time, my kids really have zero value of what I've done on this earth. I've left no legacy. All I've done was work hard to make money. But what does that teach my kids? It just teaches them some grit, resilience, that's it. So if I had grandkids 15 years from now or whatever, what would the conversations be like if I just did life a little bit different?
Yeah.
How could the people around that table say, oh, your grandfather impacted my family too. Oh, your grandfather did this. Oh, yeah, we heard about it. Oh, we did this too. So I promised God that if I were to walk out of that hospital, I was going to sell every business I own and I was going to change people. I was going to turn people from operator to CEO. I knew how to do it. My last company, dude, I was working 20. I just got the chills. That's the Holy Spirit right there. My last company, I was working 20 hours a week, bro, and generating so much money because I understood how to be a true CEO. And I would go on vacation and I would not have to answer my phone. So it wasn't a vacation, it was time away. Because when people go on a vacation, they want to vacate their life. I didn't have to vacate my life. I would just go away and go visit somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because every time people try to vacate their life, then they're traumatized that they got to go back. Oh my God, got to go back to reality. How many times do you hear that?
Right.
Well, if that's your reality, why aren't you changing it? 99% of people go on vacation and they go, oh, got to go back to work.
Yeah.
Got to go back to reality.
It's the escape.
That's
right?
your reality. You've created that. Dude, my life is a vacation.
Yeah.
I do what I want when I want because, number one, I serve God. Number two, I take care of my family and I serve people. And I don't ever have to worry about money. It's always there.
Yeah. Well, that's the abundance mentality, right? And it comes to you now. So I love that, man. And the fact that you said vacation, one of my mentors told me the best thing. He's like, I'm just reallocating time.
Yeah.
That's what he would always tell me. And I'm like, I never understood that concept until I started seeing that in my life. I'm like, okay, this isn't a vacation. This is just me reallocating my time and living my life the way I want.
Yeah.
Same thing he says, why wait till we go to heaven to live paradise when you can live paradise on earth?
Amen.
And I love that. And I love that you share that same mindset. So that makes sense why I resonate so much with your message. Awesome. So we got pillar 1, 2, and 3 we discussed, right? When you think about fitness, let's talk a little bit about the fitness side too, because obviously you did talk about obviously the gordo thing and then going into the gym. And earlier before we got on the pod, you had mentioned you did bodybuilding for a while. How's the fitness changed for you then to now and what that is helping you with your day-to-day now?
So when I was younger, I was chasing to look good, to be big, to be bigger, chasing the validation, chasing the awards, chasing all that stuff.
Yeah.
I abused myself, bro. I did a lot of drugs to get there, a lot of steroids, which hence led to my heart attack because everything I did, my heart wall grew, like almost doubled in size, more than doubled in size, which caused my aortic valve to split because it was working so hard. And I didn't know what I was doing, but what I did know was I was very, very disciplined back there to change. So through that process throughout my life, I realized that discipline played a major part of my life. Every time I wanted to change something, discipline came first. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. If you desire something, you will get it.
Yeah.
Okay? But you have to be disciplined enough to go after it. So I'm disciplined at everything I do. Just like, setting up this connection here today, me coming here. I knew I was coming here. I was going to be in California for a week. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to lay at the beach. If I came here, with my kids or with a female or with anyone, like at the end of the day, they'd want to sit at the pool and do that shit. Like, dude, I'm not here for that.
Yeah.
I'm here to work. I'm here to execute and get things done. This is a working week. You know what I mean? I literally flew in on Saturday, got in at 1 a.m. Sunday, slept for 4 hours, went to the gym, went to church, went on a podcast, drove 6 hours to Southern California. I was in Northern California, literally got in. The next day, a speaking event for two days, then another podcast, and traveled yesterday from Southern California all the way to Laguna Beach. And then, it's just one thing after another, but I'm just consistently going. And today, I was just texting someone and they're like, oh, if you're going to be in San Diego, like, go check out this place to eat. I'm like, I ain't got time to eat. I got to get back north because I got to get on another podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just an execution style when I'm doing it. But when I go home, I get to relax. I get to do what I got to do. But when I'm out working, I'm on a mission. Yeah. And so the way that, the discipline has happened and working out and all that stuff has changed my life and my health, So I thought wealth in the beginning of my life was money. Now, after a heart attack, you realize wealth is health. If you're not healthy to be here, there's no point of making money. It's irrelevant, right? So my fitness, the way I eat, what I do is super important because it elevates me. It keeps me clear, keeps my clarity, keeps me going where I got to go. Plus, when's the last time you trusted a fat shit to give you business advice? You know what I mean?
Right.
Most people who are successful aren't fat.
Correct.
You know what I mean? They're all in shape. And there are some guys who are millionaires and billionaires that are fat. But you know what? They're married to some chick who spends all their money and doesn't make love to them and doesn't do anything and, enjoys life off of them and can't wait till they die. But that's very few between. But if you look at some of the uber successful people in this world, they take care of themselves. They got a good life. They know what they got to do. Yeah. If you don't trust yourself enough to take care of your health, I probably can't trust you in business because how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yep. I love that you say that, man. That's a lot of people get weird about that topic when it comes to fitness, but you're absolutely right. Like that's like going to a gym and having a sales consultant. I used to do gym sales 20 years ago, and the gym industry changed, as you know. Yeah. Now kids behind the desk and just telling you, hey, it's $10 a month. Yeah. But when I would walk into a gym, I would just always just like, man, like how's this trainer 100 pounds overweight trying to tell you to lose 100 pounds? That makes no sense to me. So it's the same thing in business.
Certification.
Well, yeah.
Just like a professor.
Yeah. Went online, and got it done. I agree with you. Man, that's awesome. And so you got the fitness side. We talked all those three pillars. My biggest question now is what's next for Big Dan? What's next for you? I know you said you're on a mission, and when you're on a mission, you're serving God. What does that look like for you in the next 10 to 15 years?
So honestly, my will doesn't really matter. What I want doesn't really matter. Yeah. And again, I'm getting the goosebumps again, bro. It's crazy, right? Good. So, you know what that means. Yeah. So my will doesn't really matter. What I'd like to see and what I'd like to do is serve people on a high level, continue to hold high level masterminds, continue to speak at events, continue to be a coach, at the level that I am and bigger and greater, but also know that I'm being transformational and being intentional. And I'm bringing people what they need, not what I want. So 2 years from now, if God's got a different plan for me, you know what I mean? I thought I was going to be a contractor forever. Who knows, you know what I mean? Right now, I feel like my purpose is to serve people, help people, and get people unstuck and put high-level people in rooms together so that they can see that they're not dealing with those problems alone. Because most every entrepreneur that is going through something or is feeling something or is dealing with something feels like this imposter syndrome, like it's them. It's only me. Yeah. But when you get in a room with 30 other people, you start to realize we all have the same problems.
Facts.
We just have a different name, we look different, and we have a different business. Yeah. Every business is the same. And if you can get those people around, because we oftentimes ask people for advice that don't live in our world. And when you try to do that, people will tell people things that they want to hear, not things that they need to hear. Right. This is why the exchange of life is so important, especially with the proximity of people that you surround yourself with.
I love that, man. Wow. Guys, I hope you wrote some notes on that. Because that's powerful, right? Because I remember a time, and you'll resonate with this, I bet, and it was here in San Diego. It was 7 years ago when I first started in the painting world. I had zero painting background experience. I came from the car industry, and the gym industry. That was my two main things.
Two untrusted industries. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine that, and a guy who never felt aligned with what he was doing. So I was always in this constant search, right? Yeah. And my mentor, he was really big about painting companies. He opened up multiple ones, but I kind of felt alone. And I was like, man, like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to quit. And fast forward, I was doing exactly what you said. I was asking people like my brother or people in my family or friends their opinions. They're like, why don't you move back to Arizona? Why don't you go do this? You were doing better with this. I was like, you don't own a business. Why am I asking those questions to a non-person that even knows what I'm going through? So I love that you said that, because when you're in those rooms, you're able to now feel better, to know like, hey, if I execute X, Y, Z, this makes sense because this guy went through the same thing. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now, obviously, this is being a mindset entrepreneur episode that I really want to focus on. What are some other messages you think that can bring clarity to entrepreneurs that are listening to us right now, that can really get them to catapult? Like, what are some important lessons you think that you can give them mindset specific right now?
Well, I said it already. Lead with intention. Don't be money driven. If you're money driven, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to chase it forever. Yep. You're going to always end up blank. If you're serving people and you're doing stuff and you love what you do, this is another thing. People get involved in business because they see the dollar signs and they think it's just hard work. Smart business owners don't work hard. Right. I don't work hard. I have a team who does everything for me. Yeah. I have an assistant, I have an editing guy, I have a media guy, I got a girl who does all my marketing. I don't do anything. Yeah. What I do is what I do. I talk from experience. That's what I'm here to do. But I don't work hard. I just work consistent and I stay in my lane. So many people don't want to stay in their lane. They want to look at something that looks nice and shiny today, and all of a sudden now they're in business for a year and their friend just bought their first rental property. I'm going to get in the rental business. Like, bro, don't look at anything but what you're doing right now. And if you love it, build it. But build it to sell it. And if you don't build it to sell it, you're going to have a job forever. And again, you're doing a disservice to your family because you're just doing something for you. And if you're the main byproduct of what you're doing, it's never going to work. So once you've cleared something and you've done something, in the next 5 years, you've built this business, you could step away for a month and not deal with it. Then we'll talk about real estate. Then we'll talk about this. Yeah. So I just think, keep your eye on a prize for what it is that you want to do, but it has to be larger than money. Right. And you have to make sure that you're showing up authentically every single day. As you start tasting, feeling, and seeing success in your life, don't change who you are. The clothes I wear today, I wore 20 years ago. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm in like sweatpants right now, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, they're not really sweatpants. I think these are like, I don't know, joggers they call them or something. But whatever, like, I don't need to wear Louis Vuitton shoes. I don't need to wear a Louis Vuitton suit. That's not me. I see you on stage, bro. You wear a t-shirt and a hat. Like, you're unique to your own person and your own being. Yep. There's guys out here in San Diego who are taking people's money and doing stuff and at the Louis Vuitton store and driving their Lambos and doing all this bullshit and wearing Louis Vuitton jackets and all this stuff because they have an identity problem. They want to be seen as something that they're not, because if they do, they feel good. But by the time they get home, they're completely empty. Yeah. And it's like, how do you put your head on your pillow at night knowing, I showed up today, but I didn't. I showed up today at the expense of others. When your life doesn't cost somebody else, but you're actually providing for somebody else, major shift.
100%.
Major shift.
Yeah. I love that, man, because it's a lot of my audience, they're obviously painting contractors, right? And again, I told you before, I was not in that kind of industry before. And I wanted to leave because I hated painting. There was nothing about painting I enjoyed. Yeah. It was the spark of the help of my painters that I go, oh my gosh, there's something I can do here for them. I can teach them financing. I can teach them how to live a better personal life. And especially being Hispanic, we came from a community that's not really taught very well. Then I shifted that purpose, and then that shifted to other things that I'm doing today. So I resonate with that, and that's something that I had to shift early on, because I was that guy too. It was always about money, because I didn't grow up with money. Yeah. It was always money, 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 and I made money and I lost money too, right? So it's like every time I lost money, I was like, oh, I need to just make more, and I'll just sell this or I'll just do this. But where's the integrity behind it?
Money needs to be a vehicle, but not the thing.
Facts.
You know, money needs to have opportunity attached to it for the next thing.
Yes.
You know, to help you with a problem. Money can solve things. Like, you know, you want to retire your parents. You want to do something. You know, someone in your family's ill. You can do it because you have the money.
Yes.
But if you live for the money, then you live at the dollar of money that you have, and you continue to do that. And every single month, it's a rush to just get those bills paid, to fill up that bank account, and to do all that.
Yeah, I love that. So when you say that, when you talk to the entrepreneurs you work with and the people that you're coaching, right? When you're talking about the money specifically, how do you shift someone's mindset behind, oh, that's too expensive? Like what kind of things have helped you not look at the price or go, okay, well, what is that even relative? Like, how do you coach someone through that? Because I hear that a lot with people that I coach with, that they go, oh, that's too expensive. And then they have this limiting belief system behind the money too. So how would you coach someone around that?
It really all depends what they're asking, you know. So when you talk about coaching, and I say, hey, guys, it's $35,000 a year to coach with me.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's a lot of money. It's expensive. I go, well, it's expensive not to. You know,
Right.
I'm gonna give you the shortcut. I'll 3x your business in the next 12 months, guaranteed.
Right.
If I don't, I'll work with you till I do. Where else are you getting that?
Right.
You're going to spend $100,000 failing and flopping on your face trying to figure it out. I'm going to give you the cheat code. I'm going to give you everything you should be doing, and I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to give you marching orders, and I'm going to see everything on the outside, because currently the only place that you live is on the inside. So it's expensive to do things the way you want to do them. It's expensive to do things in other ways, but which price tag is going to give you more? You know, and then when you look about buying things and purchasing things, yes, things are expensive, but there will come a day, if you change the way you think, that price tags don't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like, even with a rental car or whatever, you know, it is like, dude, I want to travel comfortably. I've been driving this entire week.
Right.
So I want a luxury car. I don't want a fucking Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
You know, my back would be jacked up. I'd have to be at the chiropractor every day.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's a couple dollars more. But people are like, oh, what's the cheapest rental car I can get? $19 a day. Well, mine's $190 a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference, but it doesn't. It's irrelevant. Could I have gotten a G-Wagon for $500 a day? Yes, but I don't need that. Right. I just got something that was going to do the job and make me feel good and keep me comfortable. So again, there's a fine line with expensive of need and expensive of want.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So a lot of things are expensive, right? You want a car that's expensive, and you go, okay, well, right now I'm paying $800 a month, and this car is $1,100 a month. What's $300? But it's just a car. But then you go, oh, coaching, I can't do that. You know, I can't invest in me, but I can buy the next car for $300. So it's what you put that limitation on, and what that price tag is actually doing for you. Is it reinvesting in you? Is it gaining equity in you, or is it costing you?
Right.
And that's a decision you have to make. So a lot of times people think things are expensive because we're conditioned that way. We're conditioned to look at things for the value now, not the value later.
Right.
If you knew that every car you were buying depreciated and they show you the dollar amount in 5 years, you probably wouldn't buy that car. I buy used cars, supercars, trucks, whatever. Give it to me with like 6,000 miles on it, dude, and I'm getting 20 grand off. I'm getting 30 grand off.
Yep.
If not, I'm taking that hit when I leave the dealership anyway. And what's the difference?
Right. Right. I love that. So what triggered me on that one was when you even said, if I got a lower car that hurt my back. What people don't see is the fact that now you have to go to the chiropractor, which makes it a loss of time. Now you have a physical issue, which you couldn't show up to these podcasts feeling at your 100%, right? Like, there's other things behind that. Yeah. And that's what people don't think, as they don't put the cost of, what if I didn't do these things, right? And they don't see that opportunity in that and what that does to them as well. So
in that realm of life, there's a difference between comfort and luxury. And there's a difference between comfort and discomfort. So there's always a happy medium. So the only one thing I really wanted was a car that was going to have a good suspension, and it had air-conditioned seats, because it's hot as shit out here.
Yeah.
Right? That's all I cared about.
Right.
I didn't care. And if I get a Range Rover, do you know Range Rovers don't have air-conditioned seats?
That's wild.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Stupid. I rented one recently, and like, bro, I was like, there's no air conditioned seats. Like, this is a waste of 150 grand.
Yeah.
You know, so I just said, went online, I called them, hey, does that, and I looked it up. Yeah, it has air conditioned seats. All right, I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know, but for me, it's not about the way I look rolling up. It's about the comfort I feel when I roll up.
Yeah.
Everyone else wants to live in a different way. They want to say, how's this person going to look at me when I show up?
Right.
What am I wearing? You know, I have girls, you know, you go on podcasts, they're doing their makeup, they're doing all this stuff. And like, bro, at the end of the day, like, you're spending so much time so that you look good. Bro, I could have one eyeball. If my message is good, my message is good.
Right.
What's the point of a podcast? It's to deliver an impact.
Right.
It's not to be like, hey, I look like Superwoman over here, or Superman.
Right.
You know, so people always look at their exterior appearance versus what they're bringing from the interior and bring it to the exterior, which is really what matters.
I love that. I love that. Wow. So when you think of all these things, and I'm going through now the entrepreneur journey of the coaching side of it still, right? What do you see as a commonality recently? Like when you're with clients, what's a commonality that you're hearing of a story they keep telling you?
Biggest thing in business is everyone says, if I could just replace myself. Nobody works as hard as me.
I hear that.
And then I put them in check. Okay. So what are the things that you're doing every day? Well, I do this. Well, I do this. Well, I do this. Well, you want to be the CEO, right? Well, CEOs don't do that.
Right.
So imagine most companies have between 6 to 10 operations in their business. So you're going to hire out. Most business owners want to do three or more. They want to take every phone call. They want to check every email. They want to make sure that, you know, every proposal goes out is correct. And those are all minor things. Business owners need to execute on high paying and delegate low paying. So when you start pulling all that stuff out and you go, hey, you know, you can get somebody to do this for this price. You can get somebody to do this for this price. And what that's going to do is buy your time back. And to tell you the truth, that you're not really good at that. There's someone better to send emails. There's someone better to take phone calls. Because that's all they do.
Right.
Imagine us as a business owner saying, okay, well, we do 5 things. We have 5 jobs that we take care of every day. And we're really good at them. How can we be really good at 5 things?
Right.
You can't be. We excel at one thing. There's one thing in our life that we have a superpower on. So whatever it is, figure it out. The other 4, find someone who that's their superpower and hire them.
Right.
But what do business owners not want to do? They don't want to pay for something that they can do.
Facts.
Then you're an employee.
Right.
You know,
what's the point of having the business
exactly.
then, right?
You're a slave.
Man, I love that. So here's the fact on the entrepreneur journey, right? As we keep talking to entrepreneurs listening to this, you just talked about pretty much delegation, essentially. I'm really big on books. What would be a good book that you would recommend? Like for me, when I talk about leadership, I'm really big about John C. Maxwell. So 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It's very easy to digest it and then tell you guys, okay, law number 1 is the law of the lid. You are the lid, right? So what's a book that you feel is really good in the entrepreneur world?
Traction.
Ooh, okay, Traction.
Yeah, that's a good book. 2X is harder than 10X.
Okay, read that one too.
The Who, Not How.
I haven't read that one yet. Okay.
Ego is the Enemy.
I haven't read that. Okay, I like it.
So there's a lot of different books out there. Every one of my clients, I've read over 960 books.
Sheesh.
So every one of my clients would get referred a book that I've read.
Yeah.
You know, so depending on where they are and what they're doing, you know, where their mindset is, what their business is looking like, all that stuff matters. You know, a lot of people need traction. You know, if you're an entrepreneur or want to call yourself an entrepreneur and you're doing everything, but you need to understand, you know, the EOS, you know, what that looks like and how it's broken down. And, you know, that book will give you a beating.
I love that. Yeah, the level 10 meetings and stuff like that. Yeah, identifying what you need to worry about, the rocks, priorities, things like that. So I love that. But 960 books, huh? I thought I was like a book king, but I guess not. So
I could read a book pretty quick. So the way I do it is like, so I'm on a plane a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I usually read a book per flight.
Okay.
I take the audio, I download the audio, and I have the book in my hand. And I listen and read the book while I'm listening. No distraction, no nothing. I can't hear nothing else, so something's in my ear. I can't see nothing else because the book's in front of me. And I follow along as it's reading it to me. and the whole book is done.
So you're getting the visual and the audio at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Because a lot of people say, I can't read. I can't read. Everyone says, I can't read.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, listen to audio. Well, I'm distracted because they're on their phone. It's in their car.
Yeah.
So I use that downtime on the plane and everything, and I don't sleep on a plane. You know, I use that downtime. Bro, 6-hour flight, you know, a lot of times, wherever I'm going, 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is. The flight there and the flight back, you're reading a whole book.
Right. And you can adjust the speed and all that too. So it's like, if you're trying to fit that in, be proactive, set yourself up for success, boom, you read a book. I like that. I'm going to take that.
And like on Audible, you can like bookmark stuff. So if stuff's important, you can bookmark it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, good. Now, what are some other things that when you're thinking of entrepreneurs and things that you've seen, right? I heard you say, you had mentioned like, hey, we can't talk about real estate yet. Why is that so important? You said stay in your lane, focus on the business. When do you think is the right time to focus on real estate? Because I do believe my mentor is the same way. He's like, Joel, use the painting company first, get really good at that. Then leverage it into real estate. That's where he built wealth.
Yes.
And I was never understood that at first until he started teaching me. What would that step look like for you?
Because number one, you need to create singularity of focus. You need to make something work first.
Yep.
If we have one thing going on and we have another thing going on, we choose the path of least resistance. Which one's easier? Which one's taking? And every time you do something brand new, it takes up more of your time. So as you start to gain momentum in company A, now you're bringing company B here. Company B is getting all your attention. You're neglecting company A, so all your momentum is going to be lost. So until that company's operating on its own without you, don't even look at anything else.
Right.
You know?
I love that you said that. And then once that's, what level do you think? I know it changes, right? Because it depends on where it's at. Like you said, depending when you have that running on itself, then you can start looking at real estate. What would be the next step for looking into real estate? Looking for a mentor that's already done a real estate portfolio? Like, what does that look like? What do you usually suggest in that?
I think most successful coaches, most successful people already dabble in real estate and understand the game. So I think if you have a business coach or you have someone that you're working with that does have real estate as well, like you could just ask questions and figure it out. And I just think the major thing is buying something and understanding the value in it, or getting involved in the investor side first. If you have money, be someone who jumps into people who are raising capital, give them some money, just to make some quick money real quick, and just watch how the process goes, see how long something could possibly take, and that, you know what I mean?
Okay. And like for something with your experience, were you more in like the residential buying like single homes, or did you start getting into like commercial real estate?
No, so rental properties like on the shore and, single properties that are not, hold value, but at the same time be in an area where they're going to be needed, Airbnb, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I don't like long-term rentals because, you got to deal with kicking people out and all that kind of stuff. So if you're doing short-term stuff and you're working with agencies and you're in a hot market, you can make a lot of money, or, multiple doors.
Right.
So like areas in Florida where there's a 2-unit, 3-unit, 4-unit, that's going to be something of value because, those could be long-term because they'll be different, or find, assisted living where you're getting, not assisted living, assistance from the government, like Section 8. Like,
Section 8, yep.
Guaranteed. And people are like, I don't want Section 8 people in my house. Bro, you know how hard it is for them to get a Section 8 coupon? You know what I mean? It's not difficult. And the government's going to pay you every month. And they're not going to destroy your house because they don't want to get evicted because they're not going to get another coupon.
Right.
So at the end of the day, like, that's good shit.
Yeah.
But people are, it's not enough money. Bro, you charge the government whatever you want.
So there's sustainability, consistency in that. So I like that. That's cool. I forget what's his name. Eric, I think it's like Eric Spafford or something like that. He does the Section 8 thing.
Yeah.
He's really big and known for that. So what would that do for the future, though? When you have a portfolio of real estate, what does that look like?
Oh, that's just generational wealth, bro.
All right.
That's something that continues to go on without you. Like my coaching business will not go on without me.
Right.
My masterminds won't go on without me, but my YouTubes and all that kind of stuff will go on without me. But everything else that I built from that, and everything that I own, whether in a trust or an LLC, that can be transported to somebody else when I'm gone, holds a lot more value.
I love that you say that, because a lot of people I've been talking to lately, everyone wants to get into the coaching space. I love the fact that you said when that's done, because only you hold the key of what you know in that sense.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of people are trying to get into coaching too much just because of a perception of what they think coaching is. They don't realize the patience it takes. They don't realize what you have to do to navigate to help people get to the next level.
Yeah, that's why everyone wants to be an influencer.
Yeah.
And I hate when people call me an influencer, bro. It's
Yeah.
so annoying. I'm like, I'm not an influencer. I'm an impactor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a hope dealer. You know, I don't do things out there. You don't see my cars. You don't see this. You don't see that. Like, I literally just drive information. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, my job is every day, one post a day. I put up, today I think it'll be like 7 posts up because of collaborations. But like average 4 posts a day that continually getting hit and hit and hit. And if one person gets something, and I can see it right in the comments, dude. Like I can see someone got something.
Yeah.
The job is done.
Yeah. I love that. Awesome. So now, I mean, obviously you're coming out to doing multiple podcasts and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about your masterminds. Like, what can you expect from Big D at a mastermind?
Yeah, so my mastermind is a little bit different than my coaching. My coaching is going to be one-on-one coaching where I'm going to spend an entire year with somebody. They're going to be with me live for 4 half days throughout the year, unlimited, connection with me, and a guaranteed result. My masterminds also hold a guaranteed result, but at a lower level. I guarantee to, at least 1.5x somebody, but also put them in an environment with connections with people, and everyone's pre-qualified. So this upcoming Monday, this episode will be out afterwards, but this upcoming Monday, I'm holding a free course online. Me and Bedros are doing a masterclass online.
Yep.
That's going to be a free course, and that's going to drive people to my mastermind. But it's going to be almost like an initiation. Like you're going to come here for a whole day. You're going to get a VIP night the night before, and there's going to be 50 to 100 people there.
Yep.
I'm only going to take 15 to 20 people from that whole thing and convert them into a 1-year mastermind client.
Right.
Who's the best? Who's connected? Who will play? Because you could tell like who's there to get something from somebody else or who's there to grow for themselves.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. So you have a really intimate experience over 12 months where you're with the same group of people. You have accountability. You have people who are growing together. And my curriculum basically takes all of you from stuck to unstuck, to paralyzed to unparalyzed, but at a level where you're not going to get it anywhere else. And super intense, dude.
I love that. Man, can't wait to check that out. That's awesome. So I want to talk about our seminar a little bit too, right?
Sure.
So, we created, and thank you so much for blessing us, by the way. Like, when I reached out to you, you were quick and you were like, yeah, man, let's make something happen. And that says a lot about you, which I think as everyone's listening to the pod, they're going to be like, okay, it makes sense. You're an action taker as well.
Yeah.
I created the 5 pillars of contractor excellence on purpose because I felt like these were the things that were missing in my life. And that's how I was able to see my successes. Having you be there, what are some things you think some of our viewers and people that are actually coming to the seminar could learn at that time at the seminar, being face-to-face with us?
Well, I think they're going to understand your processes and how you created the businesses that you created and why you feel the urge to help other people because you were stuck at one point.
100%.
And for me, I'm just going to show people how, to live beyond the money, live beyond the expectation that, this is your livelihood, and really look at the opportunity that you have here. Not only the opportunity of what you're bringing to the market, meaning your end result, your product, whatever it is, but look at all the other people you're serving, your team, the families, everyone who's relying on you. But at the same time, creating a team atmosphere. I think too many people in business have this like feeling where I'm the boss and these are my employees. Nobody wants to work with a boss and nobody wants to be an employee. It's 2026.
100%.
Everyone wants to be on a team. Everyone wants to be a player. Everyone wants to contribute. So how do you become the CEO / head coach of your team, step back, call the plays, and allow people to play? And once you start doing that, you're going to see your life at a whole different level. So I'm going to show people how to build something for exit, but at the same time leverage and show them how as they start to climb up this ladder, they start seeing the shifting and changing, and now they actually own a business. Because most business owners don't own a business. It owns them.
100%.
They're trapped. So I'm going to show them how to get untrapped. And unfortunately, though I'm a Christian, I do curse a lot. I don't mean to. It just comes out, construction background.
Yeah.
If I can catch myself, you could blurp everything out at the event we can. But, it just happens, But at the end of the day, I get so irritated when I train sometimes because I see that one person in the crowd who's like, not for me.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And you just want to get up and bitch slap that
Yep.
dude. Like, bro, like that was me.
Yeah.
And I remembered I was at a point in my life where like I can't learn anything from anybody because I know it all. So by the time I'm done, I just did an event the other day, and by the time I was done, bro, the entire room came up to me, bro. It was like a spool of fish.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
And they were all at me because I attracted, created a problem-solving situation, and identified how every single one of them in that room had the same problem. And they were like, this dude's talking to me. Holy shit. You know what I mean? And like, boom. You know, so a lot of people want to go talk and tell their story. Our story is absolutely irrelevant.
Correct.
Information doesn't mean anything until implementation. My story is not your story. It's not his story. It's not her story. It's nobody's story. But the change, the growth, and all that stuff is what matters. So the transitional points of speaking to a crowd are how can you take crowd to where they are today to where they need to be? You got to get them engaged in right now.
Yeah.
You know, everyone hears everyone's stories. Everyone sees everyone's success. It's irrelevant. But they want to know the hard work it took to get there. And you have to point out why they're not getting there is because they're simply not doing it.
I love that. And that's actually going to be great on the closing part of the seminar because I've been to a lot lately, right? And for a while, I wasn't doing many seminars. I wasn't doing a lot of events. I was just focused on my business. I didn't care what anyone was doing but what I had to do so that I can make it. That was just purely my goal. And I've been seeing a lot, and I love how you call things out, so I'm going to do my call out on this as well, is that when I go to these events, I'm like, what did they teach? It irks me when someone's in a room and they leave and they go, okay, I was motivated, I was excited. What do I do next? And what you just said was the implementation part. And that's what I want to focus on the seminar because I'm literally creating a playbook so that it's like, okay, office do this, sales do this, leadership do this, production do this, right? Mindset do this, execute, be done. When you leave here, you should be able to follow that play and have no excuses besides the fact that you didn't hold yourself accountable. So I love the fact that you're going to bring that to that because that's why I wanted you on because I was like, man, this guy is an executioner. But the impact is most important.
Yeah, 100%.
I love that you say that because if you can't identify that when you're on stage or when you're talking in a room so that you can impact every single person in the room, what are we doing?
I know the value I bring. I know what I can do. So like when we had a conversation and I was like, hey bro, like what's your budget, whatever, whatnot. And like, it didn't even matter. Like I told you I would work with you because I love the space that you're in. But like I got a guy hit me up the other day. He's like, hey bro, I'm doing an event. I don't know where he said, Tampa or some shit.
Yeah.
And he goes, would love for you to be a part of it. Every speaker needs to buy a VIP ticket and then we'll get them on stage.
What?
I'm like, I said, you want me to buy a VIP ticket to come speak at your event? I'm like, it don't work like that, bro. I said, like, I got a flight you got to pay for. I have a hotel room you got to pay for. And then we got to figure out what my time costs.
Yeah.
I said, my information is so valuable. And what I'm going to do to that room is so valuable.
Yeah.
I don't pay to play, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, I said, you're not going to have the right people in the room for me to talk to, so I kindly decline your offer. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like you're getting people who want to just get on the stage to talk by buying a ticket. That's not my people. I said, I go to events that tickets are from 500 to 5,000.
Yep.
I get an hour on the stage, an hour and a half on the stage. You know, there's these other events where people are like, hey, I want you to come talk. We're going to have all these speakers. I can't stand these events. They have these speakers and everyone's got a 20-minute slot. What can you do in 20 minutes?
Nothing.
And you're going to put 30 people in a room to speak for 20 minutes, 30 different conversations at 30 different angles. Everyone's looking at the clock because they don't even have enough time to say their name. And what did you really do?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's why I said to you, like, how many speakers are coming? Like, it's super important to know that it's not going to be flooded.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, like, how much time do I have? Because I need time.
Yeah.
You need time to work with people.
Yeah.
I'm doing a mastermind on April 30th, me, Bedros, and my buddy Sean. And it's going to be a 10-hour event, and only 3 of us are speaking.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, like, we know what we're bringing. We know what we're doing. At my masterminds, it's me, and I usually bring in 1 or 2 other speakers, but they only get an hour.
Right.
You know, but an hour's a lot for somebody else. But I need to make sure that from the minute those people walk in to the minute they walk out, there was transformation.
100%.
My transformation doesn't happen when they leave.
Yeah.
My transformation happens there.
Yeah.
And I make them commit. And I make them do what they got to do. You're going to watch, bro. Your entire audience will not be on their phone the whole time they're there.
Yeah. No, I love that.
I'm going to make sure of it. And if they are, if someone's going to call them out, they're going to Venmo or Zelle them $10 if they go on their phone.
I love that. Let's do it. You guys heard it, right? Yeah. You heard it ahead of time. So, but the beauty of what I love what you do, Dan, is I prayed on this, by the way. I had to pray on it because I've been around a lot of different stages now too, and I don't associate myself with a lot of different people, but there's certain things I'm doing strategically, and there's a plan for that for a reason, right? But when I was praying on it, and when I was reading and watching you, I knew there was going to be impact.
Again, bro.
Yeah, man. And it's because God told me, literally, he was like, listen, Dan's a no bullshit kind of guy, and I need to be around with people like that instead of having someone being here to be like, oh, I brought this speaker just so it looks good. I don't care about what it looks like. I care about what they're leaving with.
Yeah.
The impact, like you're saying. That's important for me. And I've been speaking louder and louder in the painting industry. I keep saying painting because that's more of my niche right now. But
it's all the same.
Yeah, it is all the same. The biggest thing right now, though, is I want to break those limiting belief systems. I want to break the thought process of people saying, hey, listen, I'm following this guy, like you said. He's got the Lambo, and I want to live that life. What is that going to buy you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, dude? And that's something that's a big deal for me. And that's why, I feel really blessed that you're here today. I feel blessed that we're going to see you in May. And I feel blessed what this will bring to the future and how I can also help you out in any way that I can.
Yeah, I have some ideas about future events.
Yeah.
I was just telling you earlier before we walked in about things that we could do. Your event's going to be open to all contractors or just painters?
Yeah, right now it's primarily painters because that's most of my followers.
To every single contractor,
open.
Bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're going to be, because it's the same, dude. Painting business, general contracting, it's all the same. You need the systems. You need all the right things in place. You need to have the right mindset. You need to be doing it for more than just money. And it all works the same. You could have doctors there, bro. It's the same. You know what I mean?
Process is process, right?
That's it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. It kind of resonates a little bit for me, too. What's your thoughts on this? I tell people a lot of things, too. I say, hey, if your SOPs are in place, I get that. But if your mindset ain't straight, your SOPs don't mean nothing.
Correct.
How do you feel about that?
100% true, yeah. Because, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, when you look at how you're doing things, it's like a company hiring people without culture and core values. There's no core values. Yep. So I deal with this with my clients all the time. They're like, oh, I need to hire X, Y, and Z. I go, all right, well, what are your core values? Your core values need to be in your listing that you're looking for people, and not in a way that you actually say them, but in the way that you detail your message for who you're looking for. And then when they apply and you read their resume and you see what they say, and then you send them an email back, you make sure you instill those things that you're looking for their position and make sure that they flow with your core values. Because if they don't, within the first 2 or 3 conversations back and forth in email, they're not for you.
Right.
Too many people hire people to hire people. So most contractors, they hire for wage, not for skill.
Ooh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just need another guy. I can't find a guy. Nobody wants to work. Of course, the untalented broke guy never wants to work because he makes enough money, then he can stay home. But if you found the guy who's starving and is really good at what he does, and you actually paid him what he's worth, not the guy who wants $400 a day because he feels entitled, but the guy who will work for $300 a day or whatever it is, and he'll work his ass off, and he'll work 10 hours instead of 8 hours to get the job done, that's the guy you want. But you're trying to find a $200 guy, and a $200 guy, as long as he makes $1,000 this week, he's good. He could take the next 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
So people hire for dollar, not for talent.
Yeah, I love that you say that because I always tell everybody when I'm hiring, I love the guys that tell me, hey, let me just show you what I can do, Boston. We'll go from there. Let's go. I want to see what you got.
Yeah.
Those are like my heavy hitters usually, typically. I love that. So as we're wrapping up here, what are some things you want to say like as a power message for our viewers, right? What's something that you think is important that the younger Dan maybe would have loved to hear when he was younger? What could you tell to the audience?
Well, number one, our belief system in ourselves and what we do play a major role in who we are. And number two, our subconscious doesn't know the difference between reality and what we're thinking. So if we believe we can do something, if we believe we're supposed to achieve something, if we believe we're supposed to get something in our life or be somewhere in our life, as long as we believe it, we truly, truly believe it, it'll happen.
Yeah.
But the problem is we have a limiting belief in who we are. We have a limiting belief in what we do. And we try to just live for the day and live for the moment and live for the paycheck and live for now. If you really started living for the future, if you really started living for what you're trying to build and what you're looking to execute on, and you just know that right now you're not there, but your job is to arrive, and you believe that you deserve that, your daily life would be so much easier.
Yeah.
But people just try to fulfill the moment. I need my paycheck. I need this. I need that. And just show up by the day. Listen, we don't know what day we're gone, but we should be living for something greater than right now. So as long as we know that, hey, this job's going to take a month, and I'm the byproduct of this job. And I know that at the end of this month, how this job looks is on me. And I take personal control, personal responsibility, and I know that I'm going to love on this job and do this job the way I need to do, everything's going to work out. Not like, all right, I work 8 hours a day, and I took a little bit extra lunch today, and how I show up, right, is how I finish.
Right.
So I said it earlier, like how you do anything is how you do everything.
True.
So high performers, they execute. And you and I, at the level we are, we could take some of our greatest employees, and not saying that they're not good, they're just not there yet.
Right.
And you and I can walk into something, and we could put in 50% of the time and get done 200% of the work.
100%.
Because we know in the back of our mind, time is money, essentially, for us, because we leverage that. And other people think time is money because time is by the hour. No.
Yeah.
It's the value you bring to the hour and you get paid. So people go like, why do you make so much money? Or why do you get paid so much money? It's not why. It's the lessons I can teach you from the things I've done is the value I have. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
So someone wants to talk to me for an hour and they don't want to hire me for a coach, I charge them $2,000.
Yeah.
I go, I'll give you more in an hour. Like just right here in this podcast, I can give someone more in an hour than they're going to get for the next 30 days sitting at Starbucks.
100%.
You know what I mean? And use one thing I give you, and I guarantee I'll change your life.
Yeah.
Well, why would you charge? Because if I charge you, you're going to have skin in the game. So I'm going to start doing paid webinars. Like, so we're going to do webinars like every 30 days. I'm going to do some kind of mindset or business growth webinar every single month. And I'm going to charge $19 for it.
I think it's a great idea.
And I'm going to donate the $19 to charity, all 100% of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't need your money. But if you're invested in something, you're going to pay attention.
Yeah.
And then we could turn it into something bigger. Because you can give people free content, right? How many people sit there, they watch YouTube videos, they do this, they do this. Again, information doesn't mean anything until implementation. If you invest in something, then you turn the clock. But I was saying at the event I was at on Tuesday when I was speaking, I'm like, some of you guys here, you paid $500, $1,000. I don't know what you paid to be here. I have no idea. But what I can tell you is that the speaker before me, all you guys had your heads in your phone, you were on your laptop, you weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
So what did you pay the money for? Just go burn the shit.
Yeah.
Like you want to change your life, but you're not going to change your life unless you execute. And you're not going to execute unless you're present. And you're not going to be present unless you put behind what's been holding you back.
I love that. Man, like you're hitting so many good topics on that because it's, gosh, you made me resonate on something. I created a group called the MVP group 2 years ago. It's literally a free call every Wednesday. I've showed up every Wednesday for 2 years straight when I opened it. I've yet to miss that call. And I get the same questions, the same thing. Hey, how do I do this? I said the same thing for the last 2 years. You just haven't done it. So I love the fact that you're doing the $19.
Start charging for it.
Yeah. I've already put that out there. I was like, hey guys, just so you know, we're going to start charging because you're still doing the same thing and you're actually absorbing time for people that want to do something with their lives, So I love that you did that and you're saying that because even the $19, it's just saying, hey, I'm committed and I'm going to actually take action.
Yeah.
So I love that. So Dan, where can everyone find you and how can they start following you? Where can we find you? What's the best ways to connect with you, man?
So I would say I'm on every platform, but my biggest platform is Instagram.
Okay.
Big Dan Official on Instagram. And look, these guys are taking their phone out. They're about to follow me.
Yeah. Please do. Trust me, guys.
So Big Dan Official on Instagram. YouTube, Dan Sachkowsky Official. And I'm on every platform. I don't go on Facebook, though. I'm a little bit on LinkedIn. But I really use Instagram, and that's something I want to tell people about. So I have TikTok, I have like 10,000 followers, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever platform works for you is a platform you focus on.
Yep.
Too many people, if you look at almost every successful entrepreneur out there, there's 5 or 6 platforms that we're all on, and everyone's good at 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And someone gets no followings on others. And that's just the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
So my 2 are YouTube and Instagram. I have them all. I post on them all. If the other ones take off, they take off. But I spend the majority of my time on Instagram. YouTube, I just post content daily. And my long term is YouTube.
Yeah.
Because that's going to outlive me. That's my legacy builder. That's something where 20 years from now, someone's going to pop a video up and be like, holy shit, right? Like they watch this. But my Instagram is my now, live, today interaction. And I make sure, you see me on my story, dude.
Yeah.
Every day I'm on my story. Every day I'm doing what I got to do. And, I'm showing up. So a lot of people are on social media. I get people, I'm going to manage your social media. I'll post for you. I'll do this. Like, how are you going to post on my story for me? It's not even possible.
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where people see that you're real.
Mm-hmm.
Real life, real person, real there. Because even though I have all those clips that I post, they don't see me. But if they see me in my story, they go, wow. So, I get like 5,000 views, 6,000 views on my story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of people.
Dude, I've seen even your visits to your profile. You show the real insights.
7.3 million this month.
Yeah, man. That's impact.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that you're saying that, hey, let's stick to one. That I do the same thing. My Instagram is my biggest following that I have compared to anything else because that's all I focused on for years. So I love that you say that. But, gosh, that's huge. That's huge. And thank you for sharing that with us because that's also, you're giving the game on that as well, right? Yeah. And then I guess, man, I got to squeeze every moment I have with you here right now. So one thing I want to talk about real fast then before we end the
Whatever you
episode.
want, dude. I'm good.
Yeah, I love it. Is speaking on the social then, a lot of people talk about then on Insta stories, they're like, well, don't show, no one cares about your cold plunge. No one cares about your workout. How do you feel about that? Because I think you're sharing a piece of you on why someone should be related to you and why they would even hire you if you're putting yourself out there for services. You know what I mean?
So I usually post like my story every morning, like if I'm reading, if I'm doing what I'm doing, or I'll post my workout, just because I commit to do something and I teach people on it. So when people actually see that you're doing it and see that you're committed to it and see that you're not just talking, they see that it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs go like, I don't have time for that. We make the time. We have as much time as anybody else.
100%.
I will outperform most everyone I know.
Yeah.
Because I know how to use my time. I know how to block my days. Like I said, after this, I'm going to be somewhere else. And after that, I know that like I've got some time blocked out. I haven't been on my email. I haven't messaged back people on my text messages. So I'm going to spend the afternoon today, late afternoon today, spend 2-3 hours and just get back to everyone.
Yeah.
But that's my shift. I know that I have it blocked out.
Yeah.
Are people, when I see the next podcast, are they going to be like, hey, you want to go out to dinner? Hey, you want to do this? Yeah, I would love to, but I got things to do.
Yeah.
So this is the important part of life is like we get invited to do things. So if I can give you one key lesson about this, live in your planner. I have a paper planner. I carry it with me. It's in my car on my seat. It's my Bible, my daily Bible of what I do. I also have it in my phone. So my assistant puts everything in my phone. It's all color coded. Mm-hmm. So I know what's mine, when it is, if it's a call, if it's live, if it's a podcast, whatever it is. And then I have everything transferred into my paper planner.
Yep.
If you call me today and ask me to do something and it's not in my book or it's not in my calendar, it's not happening.
Facts.
Everybody else will jump to it. Mm-hmm. Hey, bro, I got tickets to the football game tonight. You want to go? Oh, yeah, let me call my wife. No, bro, can't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're taking all the things that you plugged in to make important. Now you got to reschedule your whole life to go have fun for a couple minutes and spend money you probably don't even have.
Yeah.
For what? You're showing up for something besides yourself.
Yeah.
So I show up every day for me. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Bro, people die. People get married. People have birthdays. I'm not there.
Yeah.
I can't be there. I can't stop my life. Listen, does it suck that people die? Yes. If I haven't talked to you in the last 2 years, there's no reason for me to be there. Why do I need to be there?
Yeah.
For what? You want me to come to your wedding and I have a speaking event? You only want my card anyway. Listen, if I send you a card, you don't have to pay for my plate. You're going to make out better. right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just the things that people don't understand is people think they need to show up for everything.
Yeah.
But the one thing they never show up for is themselves.
Facts. I love that you say that because I'll share this right now. When you told me, hey, I'm going to be in California, I jumped on the time slot. I looked at my time slot. You're like, hey, what do you got? I'm like, 1 to 3. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Done. Because right after this, you're going to a podcast. I have a coaching session to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, I built my life. I do block scheduling just like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
I use, you ever hear of the Franklin Covey planner?
No.
It's from Stephen Covey. So the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've adopted that time management system. Same thing, block schedule. If it ain't in my calendar, I'm not doing it. It's that simple. And if an opportunity like this came up, I'm going to take the opportunity that I know that's going to make the most impact. And I'm going to do.
That's why I called you weeks before, bro, because I knew, for me and for you, people who are busy, you can't call them the week of. Like this dude that I was just on his podcast too. Like I scheduled this thing 3 months ago.
Right.
Yeah. I had a guy just say, "Hey, can you come speak at my event, same time as your event?" Right? I'm like, "No, I'm already committed." He's like, "Oh, what can we do to get you there?" We can't do nothing.
Right.
Then he's like, "Oh, well, we'll pay for your this, that." I'm like, "Bro, I'm already committed, bro."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't do this stuff. So other people will be like, "All right, well, I can fly in on Saturday. I already told you, bro. I'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be as present as I can be. I probably won't be at your event the whole time. I'll be at the gym. I'll do what I got to do, but I'll plug in. I'll do what I got to do. I'll meet people. I'll talk to people, and I'll listen to you speak, and I'll be there because I already committed the time to be there."
Right.
And I think it's super important that people fall back on their commitment because more money. Yeah, I can make more money, dude. I could just come to you on Sunday,
right?
And I can make more money. And you would be like, "Go ahead and do it." But me, I would say no.
Yeah.
Because that's not ethically good to do.
Yeah.
I've already committed and told you I'll be there for your whole event. I blocked it in my schedule. But other people will try to reverse direct that to what's good for them, not what they locked in on.
Yeah. I'm the dude. It's wild how much aligned we are on that because I do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I love that, man. So awesome. So you have a podcast too, right?
I have 2 podcasts.
2 podcasts. Do you mind sharing that too so people can learn, get some more gems from you?
Yeah, I got the Big D podcast. It's kind of like what we just talked about. It's a no bullshit podcast. Like it's really like 85% men watched. It just talks about all the things in life. Like, don't want to hear your bullshit, how you gone through it, how all the things you're doing right now are making your family suffer, your day suffer, your business suffer because of all the excuses. And I turn everything into execution. And then I have the Intrepidus podcast where I have a co-host. We bring on business owners. Intrepidus is the key, is the Latin word of fear. So we talk about fear-based businesses. Most people don't get involved in business because of fear, because of comfort. So we talk about why, getting involved in business and removing that fear takes you to a whole other place. And then all the fear that you still have as a business owner. What keeps you up at night? All the things that are pressing, the stresses, the worries. We talk about, how you lack time with your family and all this different kind of stuff because your business is now sucking you in. And what's the fear of letting that go? So we get super deep with our guests.
Love that, man.
We have it's going to be after this, but this Tuesday coming up, Bedros and I and my co-host, we did an episode. It's going to drop.
Did an episode? Okay.
We're probably going to get canceled.
I can't wait to listen. That's awesome because Bedros is the same way, right? Like I've watched him online.
No bullshit, dude.
Awesome.
No bullshit.
He didn't get to where he was by doing that, right? Like,
listen, bro. Listen. At the end of the day, nobody cares about our feelings, so why should we care about theirs? And if we could be someone who tells them something direct and what they need to hear, we're doing a way better job than coddling them.
Facts.
I don't care how anyone feels right now, but here's what I do know: if I can make you hurt, if I can give you pain, that means I'm releasing something, and that means you're either going to make a decision to change it or not to change it. And I did my job.
I love that. Well, on that note, we're going to end it with that, guys. You guys know where to go. Like and subscribe. You know where to find Mr. Big D, Mr. Dan. He's going to be here in the seminar. If you guys are hearing this right now, I'll drop the link for the seminar for you guys to watch and see him live. He's going to drop some more gems. Dan, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
And you guys know where to find us on the next episode. Peace.